Hello and welcome. My name is Dominic Frisby. Today's piece is called The Changing Face of Britain. We're talking about immigration. We're talking about demographics. And we're going to start with some recent headline stats. The number of migrants to Britain has more than doubled since COVID. 1.2 million people migrated to the UK in 2023. 1.2 million. 479,000 people left, leaving a net migration figure of 782,000. This is up from 488,000 in 2022, so it marks a year-on-year increase of over 60%. The four countries in the world seeing the biggest surge in migration are the UK, South Korea, Australia and the United States. Three of those four countries of note are English-speaking, and this is something I've long argued, that the UK will inevitably see higher than average migration levels because people prefer to go where they can speak the language, and most people have a little bit of English, more than they do other languages. Meanwhile, our birth rate has dropped, 1.4 children per woman, the lowest on record. And the net result is that the demographics of this country are changing rapidly and dramatically. Different people means a different culture. Now, I don't think migration measures, particularly illegal migration, are entirely accurate. If someone's entered the country illegally, covertly for example, or if they came here legally and then they didn't leave when their visa expired, there is often no record. Similarly, I'm not convinced that censuses are entirely accurate. Some people don't fill the census in, many don't fill it in accurately, especially if they're here illegally, if they don't understand what it is. Maybe they're claiming single-person council tax discount or something like that, and they don't want the council to know there's more than one person in the house. There's a lot of scope for double counting with people with multiple addresses, students and all that kind of thing. However, pretty much everyone who has kids sends them to school. And so there's no hiding, no double counting, and so on. And so the numbers you get from the school census are pretty accurate. White British now makes up 61% of UK primary school kids. 37% are minority ethnic, as they call it, and the remaining 2% is unclassified. So, minority ethnic, by the way, that's Asian, 13.4% of primary school kids, white non-British 8%, black 6.5%, mixed 7.8%. Now, bear in mind that those figures are for the whole of the UK. So that includes primary school kids in remote rural areas where British ethnicity will likely comprise over 90%. White British was 64.9% in 2021, minority ethnic 33.7%. So the numbers are changing fast, from 65 to 61% in just 3 years. 10 years ago, it was 70%. Today's 61-37 ratio compares with 85-15 in 2002, 20 years ago. Now, previously when I've looked at this, I've extrapolated that white British would be a minority in primary schools by 2035. But with the current trends, especially considering that migrants tend to have larger families than locals, white British could become a minority in primary schools as soon as 2030 or just after. The demography of primary schools will, within a generation, reflect the demography of the country. So, I think most people want some migration, but I don't think this is what the majority of British people want. But it's not a topic that's being even discussed, let alone addressed, in the echelons of power. Instead, it's being brushed under the carpet. Oh, it was the Tories' fault. Well, it will soon be too late. This is an urgent and pressing issue. There are more people in the world and more of them on the move than ever before. Without wishing to sensationalise, the future of the British people and their homeland really is at stake. Demography is destiny, after all. Thank you very much for watching. I'll be back with another video very soon. Until then, goodbye.